Hello, good morning everybody. A bit of an inspiration on a video that I've had for a while, but I finally put some time aside to make it. I try to keep it as short and sweet as possible, but it's kind of a big, expensive topic, so I may need to touch up on it a little bit to help explain it. So, depression, anxiety, suicide, anger, negative emotion. I want to share my experience on these things and share how I finally came to freedom, because it's a common topic in this day and age. There's a lot of chaos around the globe. I can't deny that. There's a lot of things to be sad about, a lot of things to be angry about. Look at the state of the economy, there's wars. People are looking for answers on so many levels. So, I've been there. I went into the hole of powerlessness and depression and anxiety to the point of suicide, suicidal tendency, heroin addiction, to just walking the line of life and death every day, basically. I was ready, I didn't care, disempowered and motivated. Now, a lot of us have been there. That's a pretty sucky place to be. A lot of us feel powerless to that and feel like we're damned to be that way for the rest of our life. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. I know from experience and I understand it can get pretty easy to attach and identify with things like clinical depression or I'm depressed and that's the way it is. I know, I've been there. It's easier to just say that I don't have power over this. Something else outside of me has the power over me. Now, sure, it's easier to say that, but at the end of the day, what I've learned, it's actually pretty crippling. It feels like you're in a prison to say that you don't have control over your own emotional, mental state. What I learned is that you actually do. It takes a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of effort, but once you finally do it, you clear the air. Now, emotion, especially being a guy, I was taught my entire childhood that they're added weight. They are not conducive to the material grind, the production and consumption of money, especially in America, one of the capitals of that in the world. You know, just have a cigarette, take a pill, drink a beer, get back to work, and don't question those things. You know, very fear-based. Sadly, that's the reality for most of the world. Now, how do we transcend that? How do we heal that? You might be asking. Well, yes, I'm here to ask that. First of all, it takes coming into the perspective, a point of view. Now, a lot of us are angry, sad, depressed, or whatever, because we've got this point of view, or this story about why we are as so. You know, I had an abusive childhood, nothing ever works out for me, I lost my job, lost my car, whatever it may be. You know, I've met a lot of people, and I work with a lot of clients, and it's always a list of reasons of why they got to this state of powerlessness and depression in the first place. So I'm here to tell you that those perspectives of why you got to that state of powerlessness are self-created. So you could actually self-create some positive healing perspectives to help get you out of there. Because as much darkness as is in the world, there's always something light at the same time. There's always something positive. And there's plenty of that going on in the world right now, actually. And there's a big wave of people that are, including myself, helping catalyze that. People that had experience with depression, addiction, powerlessness, etc. So, I'm here to tell you times are changing. So step one, first, transcend the belief that you're powerless to those things. That's the first step, because it does start in the belief. The biology of belief, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Google it, watch it, read it. There's actually connecting ties. Neurological pathways could either be created or limited based upon our own personal beliefs. So, yes, it's time to assess those beliefs, because they do take a role in our life. So first, switch the belief by shifting the perspective. Actually, I've got it made right now. Actually, I've got a lot to be thankful for. Actually, I've got food on my plate. You know, go down the list. I made a practice when I started healing finally in life of meditating on my positive perspectives every single day. So give yourself 3 reasons, write it down on a piece of paper, of why you should be grateful to live today, and 3 reasons of why depression and anxiety and suicidal tendencies and pain, all those things don't serve you anymore with your new goals. So realize that a lot of these pain and anger, even though it's so sticky and addictive and easy to cling to, it's really not serving us. That's what I learned. It was not serving me to hold on to my anger and past and all of that. It really doesn't at the end of the day. Because guess what? At the end of the day, it's you that's got to sleep with yourself. It's you that's got to get up to go to work, to feed yourself, all that. So it's a lot easier to do those things when you don't have all that added weight of anger and depression on you. So it's a practice. It really is what I learned. It took me about a year of rewiring my brain with the meditation and the new positive perspectives. It is a practice. Eventually it becomes the norm, though, what I'm here to tell you. You can wake up with a smile on your face. You can wake up with a positive perspective. Like I said, I was a heroin addict on the needle. I was walking the line of life and death every day. So I've got the scars on my arms. I've been there. Overweight after the addiction. A smoker for 10 years. So I've got the experience with it. And I was totally 100% in belief that I was powerless over those things. And guess what? That was my reality. It really was. So it took I had a bit of a spiritual awakening 3 and 4 years ago. I had a wake-up call. I kept coming back in circles and patterns in my life and saw that actually I was creating a lot of this pain. I started to believe in things like karma back then. I saw the patterns. If I created pain to others, I wasn't mindful of it because I was suppressing my pain, but it came back to me in some form always. I did a lot of meditation, a lot of diving deep into my shadows and soul. I did a lot of questioning myself, and slowly I reshaped my habits. So first I said step 1 is reshaping your beliefs. Now it's time to reshape your habits, thought processes, etc., so they can align with those new beliefs. So now that you're not powerless and happy, now we can't just say that, for instance, I'm not going to eat junky anymore because I'm going to die anyway, because that's how the line of command with the beliefs go, in my experience at least. Oh, I was powerless in this, so my diet reflected that. No, so my diet was one of the first things that changed. I went vegan. I realized that if I caused pain, then that's what I experienced. If I caused suffering, then that's what I would experience. All life was equal, contradictory to what I believed before, that animals were less than humans or whatever. I realized that if I caused pain to another being, then that's what I experienced. So my diet was the first thing that I switched. Then my habits, things like meditation, yoga, exercise, all were now in alignment with my new belief that I wasn't powerless anymore, because I was now the creator or co-creator of my reality. Now I actually realized that I had a role in how I felt every day. And so I had to wake up, do my meditation, assess my mental patterns, give myself some healing perspectives, look at my long-term goals, and make some short-term goals for that day, and align my actions with that. Very important. And yeah, it does take a little bit of a reprogramming process after a lifetime of doing it one way. You'll get pushes and pulls in different directions, and you'll start to see that because, our body runs on programs and habits. You'll start to see, though, the more that you stick and align with your new beliefs, the more that the unhealthy patterns and beliefs and ways of thinking will slowly not feel good anymore. You'll start to feel that your old self is trying to creep in. But yeah, and then you'll start to say, oh, okay, actually, I do have. Once you start to see it, you'll start to feel it and believe it more, and then you'll be a lot more committed to this path. So it takes practice. It takes getting into the action first and getting into a shift in belief and perspective first, like I said. Then the actions about how to live in that alignment with those beliefs will come to being with practice. Now, I guess one thing that I could say is, of course, I don't know everybody's situation. Everybody's got different circumstances, etc. But one thing I do believe in fully, that in the power of free will, 100%. I've been through the other side after dying. I've had a near-death experience. Humans have free will purely. We have a choice on whether we're going to let this outside circumstance control our mind or bear down on us today or not. Even if we, live in a toxic environment, etc., we still have a choice on how much we're going to let that affect us, and we have a choice to walk in a new direction all the time. I promise. A couple other things I'd like to add. There's a lot of talk about, want for a quick fix in life. Understandably, I've been there. I used to just blame the government, the healthcare system, the pharmaceutical system, that, there's all these, that they're constantly pushing people straight to drugs, straight to medication, to aid those things or banish things. But actually, I learned that there's a chain of supply and demand. It totally rings true even in the pharmaceutical industry. So what we've got to do is first, for things to change, take change on an individual level and take responsibility before going for the quick fix of a pill. Because if we're having to, wake up, we need to question ourselves. If we're having to wake up and take a pill to band-aid how we feel every day, there's got to be something wrong about our elements of life, our way of thinking, etc. So it's time to assess those. We've got to take responsibility for freedom. You've heard that throughout history. Freedom comes with responsibility. So that means taking responsibility in our health. That means investing time, energy, money in our health. Otherwise, it will go down